Today we're going to remove the firing pin or striker assembly from the slide of the Sig Sauer P365XL. It's a little bit different than the P365, which is actually a little bit easier. All you're really going to need is a small pin punch, a very small flat bladed screwdriver, and possibly a larger pin punch to help if you have some trouble. So first we just need to field strip and remove the slide, confirm that there's no ammo in the gun, and remove the slide. Remove the recoil spring and barrel. In order to get the firing pin out of the slide, we need to remove this rear cover plate here. To get that off, we need to remove the spring pressure from the firing pin assembly up against the inside of that plate. Alright, in order to remove the spring pressure, we need to do two things. We need to push this tab over and down at the same time. So to do that, I stand the slide up on the table and I get two tools. I use this tool to push the tab over and this screwdriver to push the tab down. So now I pushed it down a little bit. I got to move it over a little bit more. Alright, now once the tab is down this far, you can start to slide the cover out just like that, and once that's out you can let go of this pressure here. That's a spacer that is connected and part of the firing pin assembly. So now we can pull that out, but before we pull this out we need to cover this plunger here because it is under spring pressure and it's being held in by the firing pin assembly. So I'm going to put my thumb here and you'll see as I pull this out, that got released and the spring tried to make it flying across the room. So once you pull this out, then you can let your plunger and plunger spring fall out. If you have trouble pulling this out, you may have to press down on the safety plunger in order to allow this to come out more easily. And then be careful when you let go because that is spring loaded and it's going to come out. And you don't want to lose that little spring. Alright, and there we have the plunger, the firing pin plunger spring, the rear cover, and the firing pin assembly. Alright, and once you get the striker removed from the slide, we can just go in and clean everything up having to do with the striker. So you can use some cotton swabs, or you can use like a 9mm brush that fits in here real good. What you just want to do is get a little bit of solvent. I use Hoppy's number 9 in this Menda dispenser here to kind of keep it from getting contaminated. And then I'm just going to go in with a Q-tip and clean it up real good. We don't want to use oil here because oil residue in here is going to attract dirt, and we don't want any dirt in this channel so the firing pin can move freely back and forth. So I'm just going to get this nice and clean with a little solvent on a Q-tip. If it's real dirty, you can run a nylon brush in here to loosen everything up, and then get it as dry and clean as you can with the cotton swabs. Once you get that channel pretty clean, I like to get a pipe cleaner, come out the breech face here to get everything totally clean in there. I'm also going to go into the firing pin plunger channel here, make sure that's all nice and clean. I'm just focusing on the firing pin areas here. Obviously you can clean the rest of the gun while you have it apart as well. And any of these parts that are dirty, you can just wipe these down and then dry them off. The firing pin itself, you can take this apart, but this plastic cup here used to come in two different halves which fall right apart, but this one's just one piece. And to get this off, I have to kind of spread that apart, and I don't want to do that because it's going to weaken the plastic. So I'm just going to keep this together and I'm just going to clean it with a brush. I'm going to get a little solvent on that as well and just get this critical part right here, which is on the tip. This is the part that pokes through the breech face, and you don't want anything in the way for that to move freely in and out. Covered. Wipe that off real good. Wipe off all the other areas down here. I would get down in this sleeve, even get that nice and clean. Alright, and once it's all clean and dry, we can now reassemble. Alright, so now we're going to reinstall the firing pin or striker mechanism. And first, we need to put in the firing pin plunger, the plunger spring, just sits on this piece like this, and then you just want to hold it together. Then it's going to go into this channel, just upside down like this. You can see how it goes in there. So you can see when you press it down, it opens up the channel completely for the firing pin to be put back in there. I'm going to hold that in like that. Get your firing pin assembly and just put it back in. Once you get about this far, you can let go of the plunger. It's locked in place. Alright, and then you push this in as far as it goes. Alright, and now the tricky part to put the cover back on, it goes into this slot here, but we need to press this down under spring pressure and hold that down while we slide this in. So that's a little tricky. So we're going to set the slide up on its end like this. Take a larger punch and your smaller punch. And with the larger punch, pick a spot toward the back here. You just want to first push this plunger down and then start pressing the spacer down. Alright, and now at this point, this tab is in the way, so we want to move that over. Move it over some more. And now the plunger is flush with the bottom. So now we can take the cover plate and start pushing it in. Alright, set it in there like that, and once it's in about halfway, you can take your pin out. Alright, and then now you can push it back into place. The tab will be back in its place, and now your firing pin or striker assembly is back in the gun. Alright, now a couple of quick things to check. First, grab the back of the firing pin, move it back and let it forward. Make sure there's good spring pressure there. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is make sure that if you press forward on this, you don't see the firing pin peeking through the breech face unless you press on the safety plunger. If you press the safety plunger down and then push this forward, you'll see the firing pin peeking through there. And that's how that is designed to work. Alright, and once everything checks out, it is time to put the barrel back in, recoil assembly back in, make sure everything looks good and centered. Put it back on the frame. And now it'd be a good idea to do a function and safety check. I have a link up here for a video you can go to check to make sure your gun is functioning properly. And if you found this video helpful, please hit like below. Please check out the description for all the cleaning supplies and tools that we used in the video. And thanks for watching.